Hi, welcome to the Data Analysis and Policy Show. Yeah, this is another episode of the Data Analysis Policy Show. My name is Runy Calmera, and in this episode we're going to talk about investing in the Eastern Caribbean. Every Friday at 4 o'clock, we talk about investing in the Eastern Caribbean. So stay with me this time. Hi, my name is Runy Calmera, and as you know, every Friday at 4 o'clock, I'm here for talking to you about how to turn data into analysis so that you can create the right investment policy. And this show is for business owners, for investors in the Eastern Caribbean or from the Eastern Caribbean. So you could be either interested in investing in the Eastern Caribbean and in the Dutch Caribbean, in 10 islands, or you could be living there and wanted to invest and wanted to create a business. And this show is going to be awesome because I've created something great for you. And you see, I always try to give you value, give you information. So if you just logged in, my name is Runy Calmera. This is the first time you're doing this. This is already episode number 16, and last month we worked in a whole month and we presented, the blockchain. And if you want to know more about the blockchain, just scroll down below and see all the episodes, the 4 episodes about the blockchain and how it can help you invest and how it can help you grow your business. Now, the first thing I wanted to tell you is please click on the page and like this page, because when you click on this page, then you will be notified whenever I go online, whenever I am online, etc. And if you really have any questions during this episode, you can just ask them, and if you are live right now, I can maybe answer those questions. If you are seeing this as a replay, then just click hashtag replay and then ask your question, put your comments in there. The more comments, the more information, etc. And the last thing I'm going to ask you, if you really like this episode, then share it on your page, because it doesn't cost you anything to share it, but it delivers a lot to me. It means a lot to me when you're sharing this, because liking is okay, but as you know, on Facebook, sharing means really that we can attract more people can see this. Now, later on, I'm going to show you how you can become part of my community. You can become part as a free to my community, and then becoming part of that community will really help you getting more information for your investments, for your growing your business in the Eastern Caribbean, etc. And I'm investing in your business and in your life by giving you these shows. These shows are free, and sometimes I have opportunity that you can work at a deeper level with me with my business. My business is I help investors and business owners in the 58 small island economies in the world to grow their business, to become financially free, and to create wealth. And this episode is going to be a special one. Now, let's talk about investing in the Eastern Caribbean. Now, the first disclaimer I want to give, this show is not, I'm not going to give you any investment advice, because investments can be risky. So it is up to you to take away something out of this episode or to do anything. I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to promise you anything. And when you see things in this show, and especially in this episode, it's not an investment advice. It's not something like, hey, go and buy this. You need to make your own judgment in your own situation if you can afford this. And investment can always be negative. You can lose your money. So I have said that disclaimer. You can lose money when you invest, and you can also earn a lot of money, but you can lose money. So don't invest with any money you have lent. Don't invest with any money you are, if you don't know what you're doing. That is my disclaimer. So I don't accept any liability for you. These are just tips and these are observations and sharing knowledge, but it is not an investment advice. And if you want any tax advice also, I'm not going to give you any tax advice because that's specific. Now, having said that, let's look at investing in the Eastern Caribbean. Now, when I'm saying invest in the Eastern Caribbean, you have to take this thing broad. You have to take this thing broad, like saying, okay, what are the fundamentals in the Eastern Caribbean? What is happening in the Eastern Caribbean that can grow your money? What are the trends on the Eastern Caribbean, in the Eastern Caribbean, that can grow you money? I mean, what's happening? If all the economies, I'm going to give you one example. If all the economies in the Eastern Caribbean, in the 8 Eastern Caribbean, are decreasing, if their economies are contracting, then you have other opportunities, because maybe it is good to buy real estate, because real estate is, people are dumping real estate then when the economy is contracting, and then you can buy. You understand? So depending on the economy being low or high, that simple indicator, the GDP, the gross domestic product in the Eastern Caribbean, already gives you. So what you have to do is you have to turn data into analysis. You see, the data is the indicator, gross domestic product. I'm going to show you something like that. Or an indicator can be population. And you have to check what is happening with that data. What is the fundamentals? What is the trend? What do you expect to happen in the future? And you have to translate that data into analysis. Meaning, okay, when the economy is going down, then maybe people can't pay their mortgage anymore. So now it might be bad for that economy, but it might be good for the investor if you have money to come in and then buy low. You understand? And then when the economy is going up again, you can look at the trend in the past. Has the economy grown with 5% or 10% in the past? And when you are looking at the past and you say, okay, this is a potential, maybe this is temporary, and then in the future the economy can grow again, then people are going to go back there. It's going to be attractive. People are going to need a house. Now you have the house, you can rent out the house to tourists, etc., and earn a return. You see, so the simple indicator, you have to turn that data into analysis and then take the right policy. The right policy is the right investment policy and decision. With policy, I mean taking a decision, investment decision or not, buy or sell. Now, this is not trading. So if I'm talking about, I'm not talking about trading, I'm not talking about speculating, I'm talking about investing, which is based on fundamental analysis. Like Warren Buffett, like Mr. Warren Buffett, I look at the fundamentals in the economy, or fundamentals of a stock, or fundamentals of an investment, etc. Okay, now another thing is maybe cruise tourist. Cruise tourism. Cruise tourism is growing or not growing. What's happening? What is the fundamental of the data? And then for each island, and then based on the data on cruise tourism, that's another indicator, then you can make a sound analysis on what property to buy, what stocks to buy, what location to buy, etc. You see? So if you're looking at the trend and you see cruise tourism is growing a lot, then that might be good to buy companies that are related to that cruise tourism. Okay? So I'm giving you the data and I'm showing you just a little bit about the analysis. And if you want to know more, of course, become part of my community. And if you want to really invest, etc., and make a plan, then you might want to invest into one of my membership programs, one of my masterminds programs of 12 months, one of my group coaching programs of 6 weeks, or maybe you want to invest into yourself a longer time and go quickly. Then you invest in the project. We work one-on-one. Those are the options: membership, group coaching 6 weeks, mastermind for a year, or we go one-on-one. Okay, and those are also increasing in price level. Now let me show you now my screen on some indicators. because I'm going to show you first the indicators quickly, and then I'm going to show you how I use one of those indicators with the data. I turn it into analysis and policy. Remember, if you have any questions, ask them. But remember, this is not an investment advice. This is just showing you, and you can use this data in your own analysis, etc. I'm giving you the tools, and I'm giving you my way of thinking, and all the tools, all the data, etc. And then it's up to you to find out what we're doing. Okay, so now let's go to my screen, and I'm going to show you now my tab on my screen, which is this. Okay, good. Now I'm going to show you some indicators, and the indicators are of the total Eastern Caribbean. And what countries are these? These are these islands. 10 Eastern Caribbean. So what the indicators I'm going to show you is not per island. We have them per island, but on this show I have decided to group them together to just get you the high level insights. Now these are the islands: Curacao, St. Martin. Those are in the Dutch Caribbean right now. There is also, there's the Dutch Caribbean, and then there are 8 other islands in the Eastern Caribbean, and we're going to focus on the Eastern Caribbean right now. But those are the islands. So all the indicators I'm showing you are about Anguilla, Dominica, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, St. Kitts and Nevis, Grenada, Montserrat, Antigua and Barbuda, St. Martin. I have an investment model with all the indicators of all those islands, and my goal is to bring these indicator set to the 58 islands in the world. So now this is the game. These are the indicators: population, employed, cruise tourists, and we will pay special attention to cruise tourists, stayover tourists, gross domestic product, and money. Now population, you see the population is growing. Of all those islands, the population has grown from 740,000 to about 840,000. So 100,000 more people in 17 years. Now that's a lot. And I can also show you which islands are growing faster or not faster. You see? So the population is growing, so technically there are more mouths to feed, and there is more economic activity. The growth of the population can mean that there is more opportunity for investments. If you are only living on one of those islands, you have to look at only your population. Curacao has a population of about 160,000. Now, by looking at the whole region of those 10 islands, we have opportunity 840,000. Now, that's a lot. So the population is growing. So apparently, that's good. So now, employed total. You see, employed total, how many people are in the government and in the private sector are employed. Now, these people, they have money. They have for sure money because they have employed. I don't know how much money. I'm not showing here. I know, but I don't know. I'm not showing here how much money they have. But they have about 300,000 people, and it has grown to 350,000 in, again, 16 years. So we have about, let's say, 50,000 people extra on all those islands. 50,000. That doesn't seem a lot, but 50,000 people getting jobs, earning more in the government and the private sector. That's good. Now look at this: the cruise tourists. Now the cruise tourists, these are small open economies, and they are based. Their economy is tourist based. Tourist based means that's one of the drivers of their economy. Some of them, like Grenada, has also agriculture. Curacao has financial offshore, so international financial services and a refinery. But let's look at the cruise tourists. So there are about 5 million in 2014. There are 5 million cruise tourists, and it has grown from 3 million to 5 million. 3 million in 2001 to 5 million in 2015. Let's say, about 2015. So in just 14 years, it has grown with, let's say, at least 2 million. Now, I have to tell you that from these cruise tourists, the majority is in St. Martin. You see? The majority is in St. Martin. St. Martin has 1.2 million. Okay? But it's still a growth. So more cruise tourists coming in. I will come back later on this because the investment we're going to check is about cruise tourists. So there is a growth in cruise tourists. Now I can tell you that in Curacao the number of cruise tourists has grown with 30% in, I think, 2018. So we have about 640,000 cruise tourists, and it has grown. All those cruise tourists are in downtown Willemstad. So those are the fundamentals. What does that mean? What kind of brand, what kind of investment is profiting from this? You understand? What kind of investment is profiting for this? Restaurants, those are non-traded investments. You have to go physically and invest in there, of course. Or are there other portfolio investments that you can move on? Portfolio investment means stocks, bonds, etc. Now, there is a potential for hurricanes, so that's why a hurricane can come on and then this figure will change. But the normal trend, even after hurricanes, like the hurricane in Bahamas this year, it will pick up again. So now look at stayover tourists. Stayover tourists 1.5 million to above like 2.3 million. So also almost, let's say, 800,000 extra stayover tourists. And those stayover tourists, they stay about 8 to 9 days. Understand? So the economy is growing. It's an upward trend. Now the economy, the total economy, it has grown from 6 million to 10 million. No, sorry, 10 billion. From $6 billion to $10 billion. So it's a $10 billion economy of all those islands together. Now there must be some investments that create this economy. You understand? Now money from the total money in billion is also above 6 billion to 10 billion dollars. So if you are in financial tech, if you want to invest in financial tech, this is what you need to do. There are 4 billion in money extra created within, let's say, 11 years, from 2006 to 2017. Now this is the data. Now let's look at cruise tourists. We go back to cruise tourists. What's happening here? There are cruise tourists growing, but let's take another flip at the investment. I said I look at the broad investment. Who is profiting from this cruise? So we in the Caribbean, sometimes we say, hey, we don't want this because all the money would go to the cruise tourists. No money is left in the islands. The cruise tourists, they don't spend. But look at this. You know that the cruise tourists to the Caribbean have increased from 3 million to 5 million. That's if you take the increase, that's like 2 million on top of the 3 million. So if I put 2 million, let me just calculate it because I'm doing everything live here. Calculator. If you take 2 above 3, like that's 66%. You see 66% growth in 16 years. So divided by 16, so that's like that's like 4%. 4% per year growth. 4% per year growth on average. So it's a lot of cruise tourists. Who is benefited on this? Now there is where I want to show you. So type below if you are, I'm just going to answer the question, but type below who is benefiting from this. So if you are in the cruise tour, if you are in the business, if you are living in one of those islands and we are complaining, we investors and business owners, we are not complaining, but the rest of the of the people are complaining like, hey, those cruise tourists, we don't get any money. What is the logic way to think as an investor and a business owner? Type below. Now, I'm going to tell you a story, and I'm going to first show you this story. And the story is this: if the cruise tourists are growing, then my first analysis as an investor would be, then I must be growing as an investor on those islands. On Curacao, St. Martin, St. Lucia, Antigua, Barbuda. So we look at the total cruise tourists, but if we zoom in, and in my programs we're going to zoom in more in each island so that you can get more detailed information. But if we zoom in per island or zoom in, then somebody's earning a lot of more money. Maybe it's not on the island, but somebody is doing that. Now, what about the cruise ships? The cruise ships are earning more money. The specific cruise ships going to the Caribbean, to the Eastern Caribbean, they are earning more money. Their business has been growing with 66% at least. Their volume, the fundamental of their business, has been growing with 66%, because we have seen that in the data. You see, now I'm turning data into analysis. Now this is the analysis part. Okay? This is the analysis. This is the fun part. I love. They are growing 66%, 4% per year. Who are they? What are the cruise lines? So now let's move. And I'm going to do a query. And now I'm going to focus here. Let me go back to my screen. And I'm going to do a query. And I did this query, of course, before the show to just test you. Now, the query is going to be Eastern Caribbean cruises. So Eastern Caribbean cruises, because those figures were from the Eastern Caribbean. You see, Eastern Caribbean cruises. Now, who are the Eastern Caribbean cruises? Top Eastern Caribbean cruises. These are the investments that we need to look at. You understand? So I'm not talking I'm talking about Eastern Caribbean, but I'm using the data in the Eastern Caribbean to understand, to analyze, to make an assumption what is possibly happening. And then I'm investing. So I'm living in the Eastern Caribbean or in the Dutch Caribbean. You can also be living there, or you have relatives there, or you are somebody in the United States or in Canada, UK, but your roots are in the Eastern Caribbean. Now, how can you make money? Again, this is not an investment advice, but just an example. This is what we do with our investment groups, and in the mastermind, and also in the membership sites. So when you work with me, we're going to check. You see, top Eastern Caribbean cruise lines, itineraries. I don't know how to speak that. Itineraries. So Norwegian Breakaway, that's one of the top. You see? That's one of the top. Who are they? You can check them. You can do more research. But the Norwegian Breakaway, that's a one. So now let's look at Norwegian Breakaway. Who owns Norwegian Breakaway? Okay? So my thing is, I'm going to ask now who. I'm going to focus here just for the sake of the argument. Norwegian Breakaway. Okay? Who are they? Norwegian Breakaway cruises. Who are they? Norwegian Breakaway cruise ship. You see here, it's kind of NCL, and I did some analysis, but I'm looking at the stock of Norwegian Breakaway. Who's the mother? Who's the parent company of Norwegian Breakaway? You see, what is the vehicle? Because maybe Norwegian Breakaway, they have like a mother company, and who owns them? You see, so I'm doing here, Norwegian Breakaway is ready. Caribbean Cruise. Yeah, Norwegian Breakaway. And who owns these guys? Now, I can tell you, the Norwegian Breakaway, Norwegian Cruise Lines, that's the stock. You see, the Norwegian Cruise Line. So Norwegian Norwegian Cruise Line. Boom. So I know the ship, I know the Norwegian Cruise Line. Norwegian Cruise Line. So probably this one, the Norwegian Cruise Line, that's the holding. That's the vehicle. That's the mother. You see? Norwegian Cruise Line. So Norwegian Cruise Line Holdings. Let's look at that one. Norwegian Cruise Line Holdings. Who is the Norwegian Cruise Line owned by? You see? Norwegian Cruise Line Holdings. Norwegian Cruise Lines Holdings is a holding company in Bermuda, based in the United States. Now, they are in Bermuda probably because of tax services. They operate 3 cruise lines. We can look at the other cruise lines they are operating, but they are in the Caribbean. Okay, Norwegian Cruise Line Holding. So there is more information in there. Norwegian Cruise Line Holdings. These are their when are they have they been incorporated? Apparently 8 years, etc., etc. So you could be getting information now. The important thing is NCLH. That's how they are traded, and it's an S&P 500. So they are on the New York Stock Exchange. You can buy them. I can buy them. You can invest into them. You see, you can invest into them, and then so we can invest in them. I'm not saying we need to invest into them, but now we know that, hey, if the cruises are growing, there are other factors, of course. I will not dive into them for this, but for instance, there are like oil prices. If oil prices are growing, these people are probably running on oil or diesel, whatever, and their profit is dependent on the oil price. Okay, so you need to do more analysis, and we are in an analysis phase. But let's look at this stock. So now we go to NCL Holding, and we go to Yahoo Finance, NCLH, Finance, NCLH, and now Yahoo Finance, NCLH. Let's just look at NCLH. Norwegian Cruise Line Holdings. You see that one? That's the one. It's equity. So that is the holding, the mother. We can buy the mother. So you see here that this is the stock, Norwegian Cruise Line Holdings, NCLH. It has gone, let me see, it's $54. $54. There are a lot of financial in there. We can get into their historical data, their statistics. We can get here, let me see. Now that financials, we can get into the fundamentals of them. We can get income statement for them. How much do they earn? We can get into balance sheet. What do they own? What are their assets and liabilities? We can get into their cash flow. So now we are going deeper into an analysis, and this is just by looking at Eastern Caribbean, by the trends, and then picking this stock and looking at, hey, what is happening here? You know, what has been happening here? Look at the condition of the ship's income statement. Now, I'm going to show you here. Look at this. From 2012 to 2015 to 2018, their total revenues have grown from 4.3 million, and those are numbers in thousands, so that's like billion. You see, that's billion. 4 billion, 4.3 billion to 6 billion. So almost 2/3 on top of it. You understand? So now we are looking at their financial. Now let's look again at, the summary, and we just want to see at the chart. and we want to see what they have been doing the last 5 years. Okay, so full screen, look at this. So now what has been happening the last 5 years with this possible investment. I'm not going to say we are going to invest into this, but what has been happening here. So if you look at 5 years, you see the whole trend. Now let's put it 2 years. Okay, take it a little bit deeper there. So this is the trend the last 5 years. Okay, this is the trend the last 5 days. This is the trend year to date. Okay, so this stock has been growing. If we look at the top, this stock has been stable around $54. Yeah, it has been stable. But if you look at more years, if you bought it here, then you would have been in an increase. Okay, now this stock, this investment, you have to look at it, of course. Is it good PA ratio, the price earning ratio, etc. That's like very high. So it's not a cheap stock right now. But the thing is, you can now be looking at this investment. Basically whatever happens with the cruise line, whenever you see the growth, the tourists, the number of cruise tourists growing, you can now think, hey, my investment, if I bought this stock, my investment is also profiting. Yeah, you are sitting there and you are receiving money. So now let's go back, and I'm going to go back now on screen to finish this. So what have you seen? We have not come to the policy part where I say you need to buy, or you need to invest, or you need to divest. Beautiful Curacao water. But you see how it can work. I want to give you some pointers before we leave. The first one, if you liked this episode, then join my community. Okay, free. Today it's for free, and I don't know when it's going to be not free. When you join my community, you're going to get more information. These are just the episodes every week, but I can wake up and then give you some package, give you some information. I can give you maybe the details of this workshop. I can give you the detailed data or anything. When you join my community, you will be notified every time when I go up. When you join my community, I will give you information sometimes. And my goal, of course, is to help you to become financially free, to help you build wealth, whether you are a business owner or an investor. If you are self-employed, working alone in your business, then I have information for you to help you build your business, to help you systemize your business so that you can get more earned income so that you can invest. I can help you automate your systems. So I'm telling you how I can help you. I can help you automate your systems with digital systems, with chatbot, with automation chatbot, so that you can receive more client in your funnel, in your sales funnel. Number two, I can help you build your business by showing you how to build a team of virtual assistants. Okay, I have a program. The program is not open right now, but it will open soon. And if you are in my community, I will give you the opportunity to join that system where you again build your business with virtual assistants that work for you, that help you bring more money in. Those virtual assistants are virtual assistants in the Philippines. It could be an editor, it could be a general virtual assistant, your right hand that works for you. So I help you transform from self-employed, doing everything by yourself, through systematizing your system, digitizing your system, setting up your funnels, putting a team together, how to manage that team, boom, and then your business runs. Your business goes from self-employed into a really business. The real business means that it works if you are there or if you are not there. If you go on holidays, your business is still working. If I go on holidays, people will still see these episodes, these 16 episodes, and they will still come on in my business, and I have opportunity to help them. That's one. Going from self-employed, doing everything on yourself, earning more earned income so that you can invest that earned income into your business, or you can invest it in other businesses. And like I said, I just showed you one stock to pick, possibly to pick it. There are other alternatives also, how you can invest into that. Okay? So, other programs is where we go deeper. If you are in my community, I can give you an offer to go deeper, where we help you on what does that mean to be financially literate. How can you read these statements? How can you check the systems? What parameters to follow? What data to follow? And then in that opportunity, we have 10 islands in the Eastern Caribbean, and I keep investing in those models constantly. We have 10 islands in the Eastern Caribbean where we can share that information with you, that you can analyze what happens now if the economy goes down. We don't have it yet for Bahamas, but what happens if there is a crash in Bahamas, there is a hurricane in Bahamas? What will that GDP become? What will it turn? What happens if you are in Curacao, but the Isla refinery, the refinery goes down and doesn't open again? What does that mean for that GDP figure? You understand? What does it mean for the cruise tourist? What if there are 10% more cruise tourists or 100% more cruise tourists? How profitable is that island? You know? What happens if they increase taxes? So on that program, that level of the program, so not the team, building a team, building automated systems, but now investing. I can teach you how to look at the numbers. Now that's financial literacy, etc. That's for business owners that really already have cash flow, and now they want to invest. They want to invest and they want to use the best tools, etc. So that's my opportunity. How do you become part of my community for free? By clicking on the messenger chat box, and then when you click there, Anna, my assistant, my chat assistant, will take a survey, will ask you, will interact with you and ask you what are your dreams, etc., etc. Who are you, so that we can serve you. So if you stay there, you look at my free lives, I love it. If you share it, I love it more, because you're helping me. If you become part of my community, then I can help you more than only these shows. And by doing that, you just click. So I have to tell you, when you click, there will be a chatbot window will open, and when the chatbot window will open, you will send information to us, and I will send you information to you. And I will not ever share your information with anybody else. So whatever you tell me, it is between you, me, and Anna. And since Anna is just a chatbot, she will not tell anybody, and I promise to not tell anybody about what your goals are and what your dreams are. So that's it. That's it. You have seen investing in the Eastern Caribbean, just one possible investment. We could have looked at the cocoa industry in Grenada, more specific. We could have looked at the restaurants business, because that restaurant business is more dependent on the stayover, tourists, etc., etc. Hopefully, you have seen how you can turn data into analysis, and then analysis into policy. Do I buy or do I sell? Now, if you are in the government on one of those islands, then it's also possible that we can work with you, because if you are creating policies for the future, for your improvement of your people, and also click and contact Anna, and then we have other programs for you. So tell me below, how are you finding these shows? What would you like to see in these shows? Would you like me to be talking to investors, to business owners? Do you want to be in one of these shows? And do you want to see more investors and business owners in these shows? Because every month I keep coming with something else. Now, I'm going to leave you because it's already 45 minutes. I give you value. Talk to me. Share. So I'm going to ask you a couple of things again. Like this. Share it on your screen. I want to see 10 people sharing. If 10 people shares this episode, then I'm going to do something beautiful for these 10 people. So the first 10 people who share this episode on their Facebook page, the first 10 people who share this, I'm going to do something special with those 10 people. I'm going to invite those 10 people, maybe do something special. No, doing something special for sure, but those are the people who take actions. You see, they don't only like, but they take action. So the first 10 people, so there are 10 spots. The first 10 people who share this episode in the Eastern Caribbean, share it, and then I'm going to, so how it works is you're going to say share it, and then you say, put a comment below, Runy, I shared, I take action. Runy, I shared, I take action. I took action. You see, I'm somebody who's taking action. First 10 people who share will be receiving a personal invite for something very special. Okay guys, it's not going to be a cruise cruise ship. It's not going to be with a breakaway cruise, but it's going to be something special. So share, and then maybe invite your friends. If your friends are in the Eastern Caribbean on one of those islands, that would be better, of course, because those are the islands I focus on. But people on Curacao, people on St. Martin, St. Lucia, St. Kitts and Nevis, whatever, all over the place, if you share it, the 10 first people will receive. Share, and then tell me, hey Runy, I took action. So, from the heart, I wish you a great weekend. And whenever you see a cruise ship right now on one of those islands, be smart. Think about it. See you next week. Bye.